You got a startup, you got to be careful who you let invest in you, because they can just take your idea and give it to someone else they're invested in.
There's no doubt that Andre Iguodala's best basketball years have come in the Bay Area, where he won 3 NBA championships with the Golden State Warriors. But he's also grown into one of the most active athletes off the court, having become a serial tech investor and New York Times bestselling author.
Here's Curry going cross-court. Here's Curry up, and he's strong!
You say basketball is going to end for all of us. Have you thought about how you're going to adjust?
I'm looking forward to it. We'll embrace it, but it could be a little frightening at times. But I think I've set myself up in a position where I can dip and dab through a lot of different things to keep myself occupied. I think my personality is my game, and my game is, well-rounded, really good at a lot of different areas. As an athlete, I think you want to keep your options open. You don't want to close the door. Like I always say, I never wanted to be a coach, but making sure I don't close that door, that may be a great opportunity. And I also forgot to talk about golf. I have aspirations to be a golf commentator. It's something different, something that's very challenging to me.
Not all athletes find it easy to maintain their wealth. A 2009 report from Sports Illustrated found that about 60% of NBA players go broke within 5 years of leaving the league. But since then, players like LeBron James, Chris Paul, and Andre Iguodala have emphasized the importance of transferring skills from the court to the boardroom.
Let's go to another theme that you explore in the book a lot. There was a couple pages dedicated to your negotiations with Golden State and how you went back and forth between them and Dallas. Is there anything that's similar to that when you're doing that, but in a business sense?
Well, yes, leverage is something that has parallels on both sides. Using your leverage to get you access, using your leverage to, let the other side know you have more value than they believe. That's the hardest part. Get into those deals. It's like a billionaire's boys club in terms of, how does an athlete get access? And, my success on the court and my influence with the Bay Area and our fans has helped me get in those doors that were previously closed, and letting them know I bring value and I understand how deal flow works and I understand how valuations work and how you build a company.
I've seen you talk about times where those doors were still shut,
right,
where some people weren't letting you in. Could you just describe what that's like?
Well, it was another part of the stigma in terms of how serious is an athlete outside of his profession, and was it the vanity play? Are you just doing this because it seems cool right now? Are you in for the long haul? Do you understand the risks that are involved, especially in startup investing? But through it all, I stayed true to myself and kept at it and met the right people, kept networking, and from there we took the reins and we just ran with it.
Iguodala has already seen success with his investments. 3 of his companies have gone public recently, including video conferencing platform Zoom, which Bloomberg called the best performing IPO of the year. He's also a founding partner of the Players Tech Summit.
I'm actually excited to be on this side of the table for a change.
A yearly conference that brings business leaders and athletes into the same room.
You say you feel like you have a responsibility to the younger guys. And you mentioned educating other players. What are the types of lessons that you think are new to them now that you try to share with them?
Well, the hardest part for them is to be able to hold themselves accountable and understanding what that really means. When the new age athlete they're phenoms at the age of 8 or 9. So they're kind of coddled all the way until if they're lucky enough to actually make it. And they've never been held accountable because they were always held on higher grounds. I always tell the guys, have someone around you that isn't afraid to say no, or isn't afraid to say you're wrong, and isn't afraid to say, you got to do more work. You got to study a little bit more into it. So it's just about grinding through and gritting through the hard parts to make yourself a better person the next day.
You mentioned 5-year goals and 10-year goals. Now I have to ask you, do you have any for yourself?
Yeah, ownership in the team.
Right.
Yeah, I'm gonna have a majority stake ownership. And it sounds so cliche because you hear it a lot from players, but I've met a lot of interesting people who have the wealth, the knowledge, and the morals, and the reverence of life to do things the right way that I can align myself up with in order for that to happen. So really excited about it.